Good evening, everybody. I'm really sorry for a late upload. This is due to work commitments. Unfortunately, I've had to travel today. I'm up in Birmingham at a meeting, and so I've been travelling all day, so I haven't really had a chance to think about things and put them down into a video. But so I get apologies for it being a bit late, but I'm sure that's not really a problem. There's plenty of other content out there for everyone to look at. So what can I say, really? I'm not sure there's any point talking about the offside that was given. If the professional referees and the VAR people and all the pundits and all the rest of it can't decide whether it was or wasn't offside, what chance have I got, to be honest? The way I saw it at the time, obviously, and you're going to see it as a Tottenham fan, I saw the ball come across. I saw it come off of a defender, and I saw Kane strike it home. It looked good to me, but then when they show it and you think, well, was Emerson off? Was Kane, ahead of the ball? Whatever. But the point is, if it takes 4 minutes plus to decide, for me, that's not a clear and obvious error. And that's the really disappointing thing about it, is that this was supposed to be put in to stop, decisions being made that are clearly wrong and caused all sorts of massive issues, certainly for clubs, whether you're trying to get into the Champions League or get into Europa or stop relegation and all that. It's really important that the decisions are right. I get it. But at the same time, I think he's just ruining it. And that's not necessarily VAR. That's the application of VAR, because ultimately, if a referee makes a decision at full speed, spur of the moment, blah blah blah, and they get it wrong, I personally can accept it. I can accept it. I think it was the right way. When you then put that decision to somebody else to have a look at, and they spend time looking, and they still get it wrong, and I'm not saying that this one was wrong, but if they still get it wrong, or get to a point where everyone's arguing whether it's right or wrong, then to me that's not adding to it. And what you end up with is 4 minutes of people celebrating, but then not celebrating, and it just being a farce. And I think something needs to be done. It needs to be streamlined down. It needs to be quicker. It needs to be explained. It needs to be on the screens for the fans to see. The referees need to come out and explain why the decision is what the decision is. That's the only way for me that I can see that even working. But anyway, that wasn't to be. The goal wasn't to be. We ended up with a draw, which now means we've got to get a result in Marseille, which isn't going to be easy. We know that. But ultimately, that's our fault. I got to be honest, the last minute goal that wasn't, and all the rest, it just papers over the cracks that was yet again a poor performance for most of that game. Really disappointing. We started off quite well, we put some pressure on and all the rest of it. As soon as that goal went in, that was it. We went to pieces. And again, you've got to say, I can't see why Hugo gets beat from that distance with a scuffed shot like that. You have to kind of point in his direction, and I get it. A lot of people have been out supporting Hugo, and I'm one of them to a certain extent. I think Hugo's been a great servant to the club. He's a brilliant shot stopper, but he makes mistakes, big mistakes, and if you want to be a top team, you can't be doing that, especially when you've got a ropey defence in front of you, aka, Dyer, Sanchez, or, Davis. And again, and they've all moved on. I think the point is, all of those players have moved on and improved under Antonio Conte. But would any of them walk into another top six side? I don't think so. And I get it that it's going to take time, and we're going to have multiple windows to really start bringing in the players that Conte wants. But it's one of them, isn't it? We as fans, we want success. We want it now. We want to see progression. We want to see some kind of trophy. We want to shut up our neighbours. You know, we want to really be seeing movement in the right direction. And certainly with the performances, that doesn't help. Poor performances and winning is one thing. Poor performances and losing or not getting the result that you need, that's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game, and will heap the pressure on. It will heap the pressure on. So, yeah, I just felt that the game was really slow. There was no intensity. We didn't press. We didn't push. It was almost like we were waiting for something to happen. Second half was better, you know, I can't lie, it was better, and the turning point seemed to be Bryan Gil coming on. Now, there is undoubtedly ability within that guy. He's a young guy. He's got good quick feet and so on. We all talk about him getting knocked off the ball, being too soft and so on, and I think it's a fair shout. But then when you look at players like Modric or Ardiles and players like that, they were never the biggest. So it shouldn't just all be about size. It should be about the skill and the speed and the thought. And I think he did show a little bit yesterday. But I think it's going to take time for him, and I don't think he's going to get the time that he needs to really show what he can do. And it's a shame. It would be good if we could get to a point where he was playing in maybe the cup competitions on a regular basis, picking up, you know, minutes here and there to really bed in and show what he's got. But we just can't wait. We just can't wait. We need players for now, not for the future, because we are just so far behind. Lucas Moura, I thought, did okay, very direct, but again, needs to get his head up from time to time just for that final pass. Difficult night, and another difficult night, and it's really hard to really analyse things because it's so disappointing, because everyone's focus is just on the goal that wasn't given and the disappointment of that. So yeah, I watched it with my son-in-law, and some of the other South Dorset Spurs people, and we were almost pulling our hair out as we were watching it. You know, really disappointed with the lack of effort, lack of intensity, and then went mental with the goal went in, and were obviously massively disappointed when it wasn't given. And to be fair, a lot of the other fans in the pub were bemused as well. But listen, it is what it is. So now we've got to go to Marseille and see if we can pull something out of the bag. I'm really happy because I'm going. I'm not sure I should be happy because it's apparently not the safest place to go and watch football. So I'll be a little bit incognito, keeping my head down. But I'm hoping that if we go into there, when we can get the result we need and move on. But I do fear for the next round if we're playing as poorly as this and having to scrape results, then, you know, that's going to be a bit of a worry. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, what else are we going to do? We're going to keep supporting, aren't we? So I'll leave it there. I'll leave it with you. I'll leave you with your own thoughts. Make up your own minds. Up the Spurs.